Hi guys, and welcome to today's tutorial. I'm Yassin-Z, and today we'll be learning how to create patterns in Photoshop. And we know how important and how can be creative with patterns. Patterns are those small squares that can be repeated on both sides and axes. We find them mainly on clothes, on walls decorations, on lots of fields. So it's a main artwork that can be repeated on both sides. I will show you just how. I will create a new layer here. I have this artwork and I want to apply a pattern for those both hearts and the background, but I will create my own patterns. I have this layer, so I can make a basic selection like this one, and I go to edit, fill, and I fill it with a pattern. I have those are by default with Photoshop. I can load others if I can choose nature, patterns, rocks, texture, fill. And it says, do you want to replace? If I said okay, I'm going to replace those patterns with this one. I'm going to load, and but I'm going just to add them to those. So I choose append. In append, I have these patterns. I will choose this one from the rock one, maybe this one, and the blend mode one normal and opacity 100%, and I hit OK. Then this pattern, this selection had been filled with this rock pattern. This is, look, if we zoomed, we have here those edges. This pattern is not perfect, but still it's the same. The edges are repeated. I can say that this is the edge of a pattern, and this is the vertical edge, and it has been repeated seamlessly without having that hard edge. So how can we create our own pattern just like this one? Okay, so I will show you three main ways to create your own pattern in Photoshop, and there are different kind of patterns like texture and metal or whatever patterns. So I will delete this layer, deselect, and I will go and create a new document, 90 pixels by 90 pixels, just a small one, or I can make it larger, maybe 120 and 124 for the height. Then I click OK. I have here this small square. I'm going to make it a pattern, so I'm just going to create basic shapes. Maybe I take my marquee tool and I make a basic shape and fill it with a color, maybe this one, pink or purple, and hit Alt and backspace to fill it with that color. Now I duplicate that layer. I held hit V to take the move tool and move it around a little, and then I'm going to make a duplicate by holding Alt and drag, so I have another copy. I hold Shift to have 90% rotation, then I drag it. So this is a basic pattern. So I have this shape here is going to be repeated here, or I'm going to use another one, maybe just a marquee, an elliptical marquee too. So I hold Alt and Shift to have as constraint circle. I create a new layer. I want to a separate layer, or I will create it with. So I ellipse tool. I click and drag and hold Alt and Shift, so I have a constraint. Now, okay, so I'm going to zoom that to have it on the middle, because the other half is going to be reflected on the other edge. Okay, so now I'm going to make another copy and hold Shift to hold it on the same level like that one. I have this is the other half of the circle. I'm going to zoom back, and I think this is enough. I'm not know what I'm going to come up or to finish with, but this is a pattern. So, and then I'm going to edit and define pattern and name it anything. pattern. Okay, now I'm going to back to my artwork. I have, this is my background. Okay, so I go to my background, take my stamp pattern tool, this one. It's just beside the clone, the stamp. I'm going to choose pattern stamp tool and take maybe a larger brush and a soft one, and choose the pattern I have just created, which is this one here, is anything pattern. And now I start coloring here, and this is the shape I've got. It's a circle. Look, even though I used a half of a circle on both sides, they have overlapped and got that shape. This is what is meant to do with the patterns. So I have just filled it with that blank. I could fill in with, but I used to color that. Okay, I will choose another blend mode, maybe multiply and color again on that. So maybe I will going to dim it a little. And now I'm going to create another pattern for now from a texture. I'm going to open my mini bridge. I have two textures, and this metal and this tree jank. So I start with the metal one. I double click to open it in Photoshop. Then I hide my mini bridge. I'm not going, this is a large document, so I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use the whole document as a pattern. So I'm going to crop only a small area. I took my crop tool and I make a selection here. I think maybe this part is good, and I crop that. I hit enter. Now I'm going, this is a good pattern, but it's not good. Those edges, they are not overlapping on each other. I will have that hard edge, and I do not want to do so. So what I'm going to do is take my marquee tool, come here and right in the middle and click and drag. No, sorry, I want my marquee tool, not ellipse, marquee tool, in the middle, and click and drag that shape, maybe bigger. Then I'm going to Control Shift I to invert the selection, and Control G to duplicate that selection. So here I have this one. Then Control T to transform it. Then I'm going to flip it horizontal and vertical. Sorry, and vertical. Okay, but see, I have this hard edge here. Those edges, the sides, they are overlapping. They are the same. But here in the inside, in the middle, I have this hard edge. So how can I get rid of that? So I'm going to add a mask. Then I will take my gradient tool and I choose radial, this one, and come here and click and drag. So that's just to smooth a little the, maybe more, a little more. Still there, I think. I'm going to take a brush, a smooth brush, and draw here and there. Now it's okay, I think. I don't need the color, the blue color. I'm going to merge those down and hit Ctrl U to desaturate this texture. Okay, now I go to edit and define pattern, which is going to be metal 1. I hit OK, and I go back. Okay, and until I finish, then I will apply those patterns. I want to create this pattern also from this jank of a tree. The same thing. I'm not going to use the whole image, only a part of it. So I'm going to crop it. Maybe this part is better, so I take my crop tool and crop this area. Maybe I'm going to move here and click OK. The method I'm going to use here is, it's a plugin. It's a filter in Photoshop. It's not by default. You can download it and install it. So now I'm going to go to filter, pattern maker. Pattern maker, this is not, as I said, not a default Photoshop filter. You can download it and install it. And just I'm going to select another part, maybe the whole thing. Okay, Okay, then I'm going to click generate to generate that pattern. I'll generate again if I didn't like that, and still generating those patterns. Okay, but still I don't like the first one. I think it's the best. I go back to my first, this one. Okay, I hit it's okay, so I go to edit. I don't need to desaturate this one. I know I won't, maybe I need that green color. So I go to edit and define pattern again and name it 3. And now I'm going to back to my artwork. Where is it? This one. And I'm going to start or to select the first heart, this one. I double click here and I choose maybe I want to drop a shadow first. It's very to separate it from the first heart, a very small one. And I'm going to add the pattern overlay, this one. And here I'm going to choose the one of my patterns I created, this one. Which one? Maybe this one is better. And I'm not going to leave it 100%. I'm going to scale it down. I want a small one, and not the 100%. Maybe just about 10 or 12. The blend mode I will leave it normal. Okay, so now look at the image before and after, without and with the pattern or the texture. It gives a difference. The second one, I'm going to duplicate this style. The second one, but I'm going to double click to change the pattern. I'm not going to use the same pattern. So the drop shadow is will stay, but the pattern overlay is going to be the metal I created, this one. And this one I can leave it maybe even a lot bigger, it's okay. And the opacity maybe 20%, and maybe darker or multiply. And okay, now I think I have finished. I hope that you have liked this tutorial. Okay, now I've just finished creating patterns there, and you will find a lot useful when you master this of patterns. You will be dependent. And by the way, you can, to download patterns, you can go to subtlepatterns.com, a very good website which is offering a lot of and various patterns for free. So I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial, and if you like this one, please subscribe on my channel or like my page on Facebook, and see you on the next tutorial. Thank you.